Hello and welcome to another edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. Right off the bat on the old show today, we're going to talk about the Jeep Cherokee. And not for a reason that Jeep probably wants you to talk about it, because Wired Magazine did a little article where a pair of chaps using normal computers with a normal computer program actually hacked into the Uconnect system and got control of the radio system, the wipers, lights, and actually shut the vehicle down and let it ground to a halt. Now, the folks over at Fiat Chrysler Automobiles have had a rough past several days. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration laid down a $105 million fine on the company, not to mention they may have to buy back almost 500,000 units. Yes, they're going to have to buy back automobiles from their owners because of the situations that they're in, which meant that the Fiat Chrysler Automobile Group didn't bat an eye and threw down a 1.4 million unit recall to actually put a patch on this deal. This is the new world we live in. When we talked about that ludicrous speed, where now we got EVs going just as quick to 60, and we talked about this is the new way of making power. Well, this is the new world that we live in, where vehicles can now got enough computer systems in it that they can get hacked into and can cause massive recalls. So this won't be the first time, but this is the first company to ever have a recall over this deal. Next up on the list, speaking of high tech, the Apple Corporation, who builds some of the most interesting stuff on the planet as far as computers and mobile music players, not to mention phones, and people clamor to get this stuff. Every time something new comes out, it's all over the news and the interwebs and whatnot. And for a long time, Apple has wanted to get into the automobile industry. And they've actually poached a lot of engineers and insiders and people in manufacturing and the lot, trying to come up with building their own automobile. Well, maybe they may outsource it a tad bit, much like they do on all their other stuff. Yes, they have been talking with a Bavarian group, yes, the Bavarian Motor Cars, BMW, possibly building i3s. They'll take i3, strip down chassis, and actually build them up as their own, probably called the iCar. Folks over at Autoline.tv talked about that because the carbon fiber chassis actually just has body panels that are glued right onto it. So there's nothing to say that Apple could develop their own body panels, glue them right on, and bam, you got an iCar. So be interesting to see just how successful that car is, or how long Apple will stay in the automobile industry. Next up on the list, Ferrari took off the wraps for the brand new 488 GTB, and now it's time for the convertible version. Yes, the Spider version of the 488 just got unveiled over the past couple of days. Now, the heart of the beast remains the same, 3.9 liter flat plane crank turbocharged V8, making 660 brake horsepower, 560 pounds-feet of torque. Now, that is slipped through a 7-speed dual clutch transmission. 0 to 60 comes in at just 3 seconds with a top speed of 203 miles an hour. Now, that's pretty much all we know about this machine, other than it did gain a little bit of weight. 110 pounds went into reinforcing this particular machine to make it a convertible version, and it will have an aluminum top, not a fabric top. Now, the Frankfurt Motor Show in Frankfurt, Germany is just going to happen up just in a little over a month's time. So I'm sure a lot of the other questions are going to come in as far as what it's going to cost, how many they're going to build, and when you'll be able to get your hands on one at your local Ferrari dealership. There is more to come. Next up on the list, well, we haven't talked about Top Gear in a while, so guess what? It's time, because more rumors have blasted down. And I know a lot of you may be rolling your eyes thinking, you know what, I am not jumping back on the bandwagon that was BBC's Top Gear, especially after Richard Hammond, James May, and Jeremy Clarkson have left the franchise. But I'm assuming a lot of you may be right back on board in April of 2017 to check out, or I should say 2016, to check out this brand new program. Now, the thing that we know for sure is this guy, BBC radio host Chris Evans, will be at the helm. There's been a lot of talk and a lot of rumors over the past couple of days, especially coming out of the Daily Mail, of who's going to be alongside, and it's an interesting decision. It's this guy. Now, if you're a Formula One fan, this man needs no introduction, but if you don't, I'm going to fill you in. This is 2009 Formula One World Champion, British-born Jenson Button. This is an interesting situation. Jenson Button's still racing Grand Prix racing. In fact, racing for McLaren Honda, which has had a pretty rough year. In fact, the Hungaroring just last weekend was the first time those machines ever scored points in anger. They've really had a rough year, and this is the last year in his contract. There's been a lot of rumors that he's eyeing a ride at Williams F1, which just happens to have the Mercedes power unit, the top of the tree power unit as far as horsepower is concerned. Now, when it comes to Mr. Button, he started his career at Williams. He's thinking about ending his career at Williams. It wouldn't be a bad deal. But this TV deal now has come around, so I'm assuming it's going to be one or the other. I can't imagine him racing Formula One schedule and trying to do Top Gear at the same time, so it's going to be one or the other. There's also another person back into the rumor mill, and it's somebody that we've heard from before. Yes, it's Miss Jodie Kidd. Now, between these three people, we all know that all three of them are massive car people, one of them being a racing world champion. But I know Chris Evans is a funny guy. Jenson Button can be funny. I don't know little or nothing about Jodie Kidd other than she's not bad to look at, other than some of the episodes she's been on Top Gear in the reasonably priced car. So this could be a terrible grouping, but it has the opportunity of these three meshing together and becoming something fantastic. So cannot wait for April of 2016. If this ends up being the lineup, this may be a winning lineup. Next up on the list, let's talk about used cars. How about this lime green Challenger Hellcat that is for sale right now for $89,000. That's 20 grand over sticker. Why would you pay 20 grand over sticker for a used Hellcat? It's because of the last three numbers in the VIN tag. They are 6. 6. Yep, you guessed it. 6. Yes, the mark of the beast, Satan, Beelzebub, wherever you want to call it. In the Bible, they talk about after the rapture, there's going to be a lot of folks that are going to be marked with the mark of the beast right on their skin, which is the number 666. And of course, the engine being called the Hellcat, yes, it's got a tie in there. So this guy's going to try to come in and make some cash on top of this deal. Folks over at Car and Driver kind of poked fun at it that maybe this car might be worth something in 35 years at maybe Scottsdale Barrett-Jackson auction. I thought Road and Track had a little bit more interesting situation when I looked at this, because they said they ran into a brand new Hellcat owner who was barking about how much his rear end still was kind of sore after the deal he made with his local dealership. So maybe 89 grand wasn't that bad of a deal. So be interesting to see if this vehicle actually does sell and who would buy it. Sticking with the Hellcat brand, one thing to be said about it is they can't make enough of them. People are clamoring for this thing. What's not to love? A 707 brake horsepower muscle car for just under 70 grand, at least if you could pay sticker for it. That being said, production for 2016 is going to be more than doubled. But there is a little caveat to that deal. 2015 orders that have not been confirmed, or better yet, haven't got a car yet, you're out. Yes, they're deleting all 2015 orders, but there's a silver lining because you will get put at the front of the line and you will get a discount when you make a new order for the 2016 machine. Now, orders will start in August of 2015, so you better head on down to your Dodge dealership right now if you want to get your hands on a brand new Hellcat. And that's all there was that I thought was worth talking about for this edition of Motor Cars Enthusiasts. If you want to jump on over to the Facebook page, links down in the show notes. Also, if you'd like to subscribe to the channel, you can do so at any time and get the first dibs on the brand new shows as soon as they come out. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again real soon.